Where Sean Levine will step into the cage with Brendan Tobin in Are You Gonna Fight Me?
I'm gonna fight your ass.
Here on Tapped Out.
That's right, fight me like a man.
Only on the BetQL network.
You know the rules. I want a good, clean fight. When I tell you to break, I want you to step back up my command and break. Now go back to the corner and come out fighting at the bell.
All right, BT, I'll meet you in the middle of the octagon. Put your gloves on. It's time to throw down, my guy. You're going to fight me if I say you're Miami Dolphins. Y'all ain't going to make the playoffs. You're going to miss the playoffs completely after that great start. You going to fight me?
All right, dude. Okay, I got to see how you want to start off the new year.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, we're making the playoffs. Dude, Teddy B, hometown kid tomorrow with Tua on concussion protocol again. It's going to take – first of all, the Patriots don't even want to be in the playoffs. Let's be honest about it, dude. You got Bill Belichick. He wants to be down here on his stupid boat, 9 cheats or whatever the hell it's named. They all hate Mac Jones. Teddy Bridgewater's going to get a little win. You know, we'll ease on in. And listen, it's going to be a little KC showdown, dude. All that talk, you guys all hating on Tyreek Hill before the season, has his best season of his career, by the way. And you know you're nervous about him walking to Arrowhead and beating you guys.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I am nervous about Miami coming into Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs. I am nervous about Tyreek Hill putting up the peace sign at Arrowhead in a Dolphins uniform. Here's the problem. Last time I checked, you have to make the playoffs to play in that game, right? So when y'all miss the playoffs completely, y'all ain't coming into Arrowhead. Somebody else is. And the Chiefs still have a chance to be the 1 seed, by the way, and not play that first game, just to correct you completely. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying there's a lot riding on the line, especially coming up on Monday Night Football, man. You want to talk about fantasy football players biting their fingernails, and I'm one of them. Monday Night Football, it's going to come down to everything, right? Buffalo versus Cincinnati. If Cincinnati wins and they're still alive for the 1 seed, Cincinnati also has Baltimore right behind them in the standings. Buffalo wins out. They're the 1 seed. Like, man, that game has – who you like in that game?
Man, Buffalo's got my respect just because, you know, that Josh Allen just feels like he can turn it on whenever he wants. I feel like the Bengals need things to be a little bit more perfect, although they do have way more weapons. That dude number 17 is just unstoppable, no matter the elements, no matter what. So I'm gonna roll with them to win that one, and I think they will clinch that 1 seed. But man, this AFC is not disappointed. It's been a very fun year, and I do feel like the playoffs aren't going to disappoint either. I think it's going to be a really fun playoffs with the Dolphins in it, dude.
Well, I wish your boy Tua nothing but the best health. We'll see exactly when he comes back. No, I do. That being said, you're going to fight me if I tell you that Tom Brady's going to be your quarterback next year.
I'm going to fight you on it just because they already got busted tampering on him. So I feel like if you were to tell me, like, Tua's not going to be the quarterback next year, which I think he will. I think that he's earned that. I think he's had a really, really good year. This whole health thing sucks, but I think the Tom Brady ship has sailed. If you told me there was going to be a crazy scenario of who was going to be the quarterback next year, I would say more likely hometown kid trade Lamar Jackson would be like the crazy Dolphins move if a move was going to happen. But no, I think the Tom Brady thing and the owner, the guy who had the piece of it, Bruce Beal, not to get too inside football on everybody, now he's like not going to be the owner in waiting anymore. Stephen Ross just passing the team on. Like, Stephen Ross was not happy about getting punished with that. He was very embarrassed, and the guy who got him basically busted on it is going to face repercussions, and that kind of is going to put the whole Tom Brady thing to rest.
Let's stick with the NFL here for a couple minutes, and we'll get back into the octagon. You're going to fight me if I tell you that Minnesota is the luckiest team, not just this year in football, not just in the history of the NFL, but maybe in the history of sports. They're 12-3. They've won 9 games by less than a touchdown. They've outscored their opponents by 5 total points. They're not good. They're just lucky.
Nobody believes in them. Nobody believes in Kirk Cousins. Luckiest team in sports feels strong, so I'll fight you on that. But I do not disagree totally with your point of them being a bit of a fraud. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins either. He's buoyed by maybe the best receiver in the league. And, nobody would like it. I feel like out of all of the playoff quarterbacks, like, where are you taking Kirk Cousins? Like, it probably should be higher because he always puts up numbers and, he's got a playoff win too, but still nobody wants him as your QB.
You're going to fight me if I tell you that the safest bet is to put your money on, wait for it, in the NFC, Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. With that defense and that coaching staff and the experience really on both sides of the ball, I think Frisco's the safest bet. You going to fight me?
Maybe the best defense in the league. You know, they got weapons all over the place. You know, get a little bit healthier too with some more guys coming back. You know, I feel like that. I don't know if I could go with Mr. Irrelevant leading me on a deep playoff run, but they are scary, dude. I'm not going to lie. I've seen them pretty recently, which started this whole Dolphins tailspin. They are impressive.
Our producer, Jake, is so cute out there in Philly with all of his, Philly's the best and Philly's going to do it and Jalen Hurts is the MVP. Stop with all that. Come on. Jalen Hurts is not
I control the technology here. I'm going to bump myself in and say,
all
right,
win the bet, BT. You're going to lose your MVP, Sean, and the Birds are going to win the Super Bowl. Okay, gentlemen, have a great show.
Jake, stay on the mic for a minute.
You're gonna pop in and out like that?
I'm not mad at you, Philly. Like, you're 13-2, but you can't be serious with Jalen Hurts winning the MVP. Patrick Mahomes has that thing right.
Oh,
I completely think if Jalen Hurts is able to play in one of these two last games, he's going to have a couple touchdowns and going to take that MVP. We love dogs. It's okay, Sean.
Yeah, we love underdogs. Even that stupid Kevin Hart commercial with the overdogs.
That's what upsets the dogs every time. Are you going to fight me if I tell you that Wonder Boy still has a lot left in the tank? You going to fight me?
I'm not going to fight you. You know, seeing him versus Kevin Holland, that's an underrated one of the ones that could have been fight of the year. That fight was amazing. Now, it was a cool gentleman's agreement between both of them because they didn't take each other down. Like Kevin Holland basically was like, you know what? I just want this to be such an entertaining fight that we're not going to go to the ground at all. Both of them fighting that fight with broken hands. It was like a martial arts movie, not a martial arts fight. And the right matchup, like if you're telling me it could be Wonder Boy versus Leon Edwards, maybe there could be some Twilight title run there by Wonder Boy. I think he doesn't want to face wrestlers. We know that. And there are a lot of good ones in that division between Kamaru and Colby and Bilal. But even still, if he got the right type of matchups, yeah, I think Wonder Boy could do some things.
Oh, you're going to fight me if I tell you that 2023 is the last time we're going to see the gorilla, Darren Till, in the UFC?
Yeah, I'm going to fight you. It just feels like, first of all, the UFC has too many cards to put on that they'll always call a guy who's going to draw a crowd, who could talk well. I just feel like, and you know, before you know, things where he got a little bit banged up, that fight, he was looking okay. I do agree. Like, he's a bit of a tweener. I don't know what weight class he fights at. You know, he went blind making welterweight. He doesn't seem like he's big enough for middleweight. He changed that tattoo on his arm. That was a girl. Now it's a gorilla. You know, so like he looks completely he looks like a guy who is without a home right now, but I do think that he will still be on a UFC roster by this time next year.
That's supposed to be a gorilla tattoo? I know it used to be a girl.
I think it is.
Like somebody vomited on his arm.
That's a bad breakup, dude. If you have a woman tattooed on your arm and you change her into a gorilla, she must have broken his heart. I don't know what the hell happened there, but you know, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, but if you're going to get a tattoo that bad, just chop your arm off. I mean, that thing is just that is not good. That's the worst. It's easily. Well, yeah, there's some bad ones in the UFC. That's got to be the worst. All right, there's a guy that has some cool tattoos. He goes by the name of Sean O'Malley. You're going to fight me if I say he is going to have the belt wrapped around his waist in 2023.
Man, that's a good question.
Away. We don't know who it's going to be against, but he's one fight away. And it might be a guy, if you think about it, like if he fights Aljo, I think Sean comes in as an underdog, like a really slight underdog.
Yeah, I want to be clear. Like, I think he is good enough to be champion. Will he do it? I'm going to say no. I still think that I'd like to see him a little bit more at the highest stage. Especially, you know, what's it going to be like, you know, more rounds pressed up on against it. I believe in his talent, but I do think this division's so good that there still may be some more growing to do. I almost feel like let's see him on that stage And even if he has to climb back one more time, I could see him getting back there. But I'm still a little bit unsold about the idea that he's going to be the guy by the end of the year.
Dude, he's fought Chito Vera and Piotr Jan, two guys that spent at their weight classes. They were in the top 5 all year. Like, it's not like he hasn't fought the dudes. And I get it. You could argue that he lost to both of them. I know that's going to be the point.
I mean, that is the point. I mean, you know, I don't really like. I don't feel like I need to counter anything else. That's kind of my point. Like, I believe Sean O'Malley is talented enough to be champion. I think Corey Sandhagen's talented enough to be champion. He's been this close. It's a hard division, and so I just think with him, he's still young enough that okay, if you're telling me in the 30s, that's where Sean is going to be absolutely ready. He's got every style down. I think that this might be the time where maybe he gets there and is close. But I don't know if he's going to be champ by any time this year.
Brendan Tobin, Sports Machine, Sean Levine, going at it here. The segment's called "You Gonna Fight Me." You're gonna fight me if I say it might not be 2023, but eventually we're gonna get McGregor versus Diaz 3. I can't imagine at no point does some promotion, if not the UFC, figure out a way to give us. I mean, McGregor 1 and McGregor 2, in my opinion, are two of the 5 favorite fights that I've ever watched. How can we not see that a third time?
Look, they've always promised that it's going to happen. So I think that they're not too old where time's not on your side. I just think the only thing that would give me pause and why I would fight you on it is I don't know what Conor McGregor we're getting back. I don't know how many more times he's going to do this. You know, he's super rich. He's coming off an injury that nobody seems to come back from in mixed martial arts in a good way or come back the same. Do you really want to see him like Anderson Silva just take loss after loss? We've already seen like we're doing that with him. Does he want to do that? Does he want to keep taking loss after loss? So like if he comes back and he wins his first fight, okay, maybe I'll believe it more, but I'm skeptical of that. And so I feel like if he loses his comeback fight this year, I think that might be the end for him.
Well, then the promotion screwed it up royally because they made Nate wait a long time. They might as well made him wait a little bit longer. It ultimately, if it would have been a homicide, that made sense. But the fact that it ended up being Tony Ferguson, and they were on the fly at that point, so maybe they couldn't have done anything about it. But if Nate's last fight is against, in very aging, losing 5 fights in a row, Tony Ferguson versus instead of Conor McGregor, then they just lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, they didn't play that one right.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Nate goes and loses to Jake Paul, like that could also be something. Or if he ends up going to bare knuckle, who knows? I just think I think it's more on Conor. Like if you're asking, here's the thing: I think it's more on how many more times is Conor going to do this than Nate. I feel like Nate's Teflon. I think that he can come back at any time, and the door is going to be open for him, and the keys under the mat, and all those things that you want to put there. It's more on how many more times does Conor want to fight. How successful is he coming back from this injury? That's what I question more because I do believe Nate wants to kind of go get a payday. He doesn't want to necessarily have to wait for Conor. And, you know, whenever that does happen, okay, he comes back, no problem, no issues. But how much longer are we going to see Conor McGregor actively fight in mixed martial arts? If he looks great coming back, then yeah, you're gonna look smart there. But I still have my doubts about that just because of the kind of injury he's returning from.
Have they both, like, I haven't read the fine print. Have they both said that they're going to fight again in the octagon? Because the more you talk, the more I could see Nate actually being the guy that takes out Jake Paul, and then Conor remembering how he made all of his money, which is in the boxing ring, not in the octagon, and going, "Hey, Nate," that was a terrible impression. Take that off on the podcast.
Yeah, was it
going, "Hey, Nate"? My bad.
So Alexander Volkanovski.
I could see him at that point going, "Hey, Nate, why don't we just box and make some more money and make that our trilogy?" Like, I don't want to see it, but that could happen.
Well, but what do you think, though? I get it. Like, people always think that there's more money in boxing, but what do you think actually draws more pay-per-view? I think pay-per-view wise, it's going to do more buys if it's a mixed martial arts fight than it is if it's a boxing match. So I just feel like you might as well just do it with what people want to see, which is them in a cage.
Yeah, I think ultimately they'd both make more money doing it in a boxing ring because that's what we've seen in the past. Like, Conor literally made, what was it? So he had made, I want to say $40 million at the time that he had fought Floyd Mayweather. And then after that, he had $240 million in his bank account. So It's not even close when you talk about what you can make.
I understand, but
that's
the big element you're missing there is Floyd Mayweather. Like people are wanted to see him against the best boxer. Neither of them are boxers. So why would I? But like, you think more people are going to want to see them box than they would fight in a cage?
Are you still mad because I told you the Dolphins are going to miss the playoffs? You still upset about that whole thing?
Don't lash out back at me. I just think it's a silly thing. Like you're eliminating one of the biggest pay-per-view draws and also one of the best boxers, being a reason they made a lot of money in boxing.
I get it, dude. The Dolphins got off to a hot start, and you guys thought you were going to make the playoffs, and the 2 was in the MVP race. And now reality is slapping you in the face like Nate Diaz. All right. Coming up next, we're going to tap out for the final time in 2022. Stay tuned. You're locked into the BetQL network.